Which is the best approach to a personal yoga program? So, I want to discuss because some people feel that you need to focus on just one aspect of yoga, and other people feel you should use, two or three combinations. Some feel you should have a more comprehensive approach. And which one do I recommend? So, I'll discuss my thoughts on this in this video. So, I'd like to ask you a great favor. If you like the contents of my videos, please also like and subscribe to my channel, and also importantly share it to at least one or two of your social channels or friends. This will greatly help to enhance the reach of my message and my channel, and I would really appreciate it, and thank you in advance for it. Thank you. For those who don't know me, I am Osman. I'm a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing the science for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. In that period, I've studied under various masters from different cultures, schools of thoughts, as well as across the globe. And I gleaned out what I felt was the more powerful and helpful aspects, and combined them, creating my own protocols, designed for the adapted to the 21st century, trying to make them more powerful, more effective, shorter, quicker, simpler, and more time efficient, right? To that end, I now have students in over 100 countries, and my favorite protocol is the 5 minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free from my website, yogawellness786.com, in exchange for subscribing to my blog, and where you can also get more information about my services. Please remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So, coming back, which is the best approach? Is a combined approach to having your own individual yoga program practice, or just specializing in one aspect? So, firstly, I don't like to give a very diplomatic answer and say, it depends on each individual, right? And they should choose what you are inclined to. But this is a given that everyone is individuals anyway, and you're going to have your likes and dislikes. But despite all these things, there are certain things that is going, because you're delving into developing yourself into a quantum field, and you're going to be spending if you're serious about it, you're going to be spending some serious time, even if you're not that serious, and you're going to dedicate just 20 minutes a day. But time is still expensive, right? If you're going to be spending the next 10 years or 20, 30 years of your life, 20 minutes, right? Because people, once they get into it, they spend, and they serious, they spend decades in this. And yes, you will find amazing, improvements in your life overall in general, that is really unbelievable in many cases. When we listen to the stories of people, who's practicing simple practices of just 20 minutes a day, for example, of just mindfulness practice, and their lives are generally, it will be a big surprise if it's not amazing. They're normally leaders in their field or their chosen careers. They're normally right up there, and financially they reasonably stable, not struggling with debt and can't make ends meet and so forth, living and generally overall healthy, and very nice, amazing personalities, very sociable people. People generally, majority people likes to be with them or likes them, and even themselves, they like being with people, and they influence many people, and generally very together, and like an ideal life, right? So if you're going to choose just one simple thing, depending how serious you want to get. So if you want just like a overall this thing, all you need is a 20 minutes mindfulness practice, right? So I'm not saying leave out a diet, exercise, and so forth. Just as the point of this argument, it is sufficient to bring about overall change, in your perspectives and this thing, just 20 minutes. But if you want to go serious, you want to seek out, the mystical experiences, and you're serious about enlightenment and developing your full potential as a human, the full capacity of your brain. So this is an amazing tool. It's going to require more intensive work, and one practice alone in this stage, when you're going to be serious to get all these type of higher results, is not going to be enough. And those that do take only one practice, they suffer in the, especially when they take only to meditation, right? It can take you 17 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years meditating. And if you don't know, if you're just going to do 15, 20 minutes a day, it's not going to hack it, right? You're not going to make any progress in the mystical field, generally speaking, majority of the cases. Some people are already highly developed, and in a snap of a finger, they have their mystical experiences. But that's a very rare few, a fraction of a percentage of people, okay, who have that. So we're talking about the 99.99% of the other people, right? So I would recommend, from my 44 years of teaching, because I'm not only telling from my personal experience, but also the experiences of these thousands of students, probably, from over 100 countries, which is, the best approach to follow is an integrated approach. So I would say that the best is to include with your meditation a certain scientific formula in terms of the right quantity and right quality, right? Not just your own quantities and qualities of pranayama or breath work, the right type of pranayama and breath work, and physical postures, right? It doesn't have to take you too long, but you can choose according to your time availability. You can do it in 3 minutes flat a day, actually. Doing the most relevant, postures, where you're pressed for time. So your physical postures, your breathwork, practice, the advanced level breathwork practice that you can learn from, people like myself who are teaching, specialized in teaching advanced level yoga and meditation, and your mindfulness or meditation practices. And also there's a Kriya practice as taught by Yogananda, and it's mentioned in his book Autobiography of a Yogi. It's one of the most widely read and bought book, Autobiography of a Yogi. I think it's published in the 1960s, and it's still very popular, right? So there's a lot of explanation about mystical experiences and so forth. But this Kriya practice, I simplified it as well, uh, you know, because we just want the result, right? It fast forwards your overall progress exponentially, between 10 and 100 times, right? Or even maybe 1,000 times faster, right? So I would say these aspects, and then um, along the guidelines of Raja Yoga. So Raja Yoga is popularized greatly by Dr. Deepak Chopra, who's written, I think, over 90 books. If I'm not mistaken, now it's over 100 books, but I know for sure over 90 books, right? Is written, and he specializes in the English language, and from a very scientific basis that would be appealing to the world in general. And he doesn't, it removes religion from it, right? So it's not religious based, which is very appealing to people as well, who's into mindfulness practice and so forth, to follow from the Raja Yoga perspective, because he also mentions the basic foundational practices like the yama and niyama, the certain restrictions and certain prescribed rituals that you should be involved in, on a daily basis, uh, in terms of, ethics and morality and observances and austerities, right? That are said deemed to be cleansing practice. And then it's just a comfortable position, some pranayama, breath work, that is important. And then the four levels of meditation that you will go into, and we can go into a deeper analysis on that four levels in another video, right? So following this type of integrated approach, especially bringing in, I like to bring Raja Yoga in, but I believe there's some deficiency in it because it doesn't go too detailed in pranayama, which there needs to be detail in it, because it is the pivot, I believe, the most important aspect from all the things, parts of yoga that's going to help you, progress fastest. Pranayama is the most important element, in my opinion, right? Then you got the boosting element, the kriya. So these are the two additions to the Raja Yoga, that you add, will fare you well, because it's so sad. I come across so many people. I've got one student now was wasting a time for 63 years, right? And it's so sad that someone, has to go through such a long period of difficulty and not get anywhere, right? And this, she, if she followed the right protocol, because she was initiated by a very powerful spiritual leader, and it was infused in her, and despite that, for 63 years later, she had made like almost zero progress. And then I started to teach her, the other aspects that are missing, and she's starting to make progress in that line as well. So I would encourage you to follow an integrated approach, as I'm mentioning. And if you don't want to take it so in depth or seriously, and you just want overall benefit in your life, then just mindfulness practice 20 minutes a day, at least once a day, preferably twice a day, as a winding down when you're going to bed, but at least once a day. This is something achievable and will bring about substantial positive results. If you don't like your life as it is, 5 years from now, your life could be totally what you couldn't imagine. So amazing it could be, right? So, hope that information perspective helps you. Take care of yourself always.